Just what are the best budget forgiving drivers you can buy in 2024? Guys, today we are talking about my top 5 forgiving drivers on a budget of 2024. You see, just a few weeks ago, I did my top 5 forgiving drivers, and a lot of people said the same thing. James, that's great. We all want forgiveness. We all want to hit better drives, but not all of us want to spend that amount of money. So introducing today my top 5 budget forgiving drivers. This may well shock you, and it may also make you think that little bit more. First of all, how much you are spending on your golf clubs, and secondly, where you are spending your money. So in at number 5 is the cheapest of all these drivers. To conform for this test, all these drivers have to be below £300 when brand new. This one comes in at £129.99. It is, of course, the Macgregor V Max driver. Now, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but the fact that you can get a brand new driver for sub £130, quite frankly, is ridiculous. It's shaped quite nicely. It's 460cc, and as you can see, it almost has a little bit of a kind of V plate on the bottom, very reminiscent to the V steel technology in the Taylormade clubs, and I love that black face with that lovely V in the sweet spot as well. On the top of the club, it has a lovely matte black crown with a little bit of red edging on there. That does really just show how much surface area you have to play with here. Things that it lacks, it doesn't have any adjustability whatsoever. It doesn't sound the best, it doesn't feel amazingly good. But when I tested this in relation to some much more expensive golf clubs, it actually performed quite well. You'd be surprised how well it would. Personally, I probably would go for something a little bit more second-hand at that value, but if you want a brand new driver, you want forgiveness, and you want budget, then this could well be the way to go. This is number 5 of my top 5, and the thing that I really like about it is looking down at the ball and seeing that lovely big V Max logo, and then being able to send it straight down the middle of that fairway. £129. That's quite frankly ridiculous, and it's a great starting point for our top 5 forgiving drivers on a budget. Okay, so number 4 may shock you quite a lot. I think a lot of people thought this driver may well be number 1, even number 2 in this test. It's £199. You can now get them in the UK. I'm of course talking about the Costco Kirkland signature driver. Now, I actually quite like this driver. I think for the price point, it is very, very good. It's very reminiscent of a Titleist TSR2 driver. Who remembers that? Although it's still current at the time of filming because there's something new on the horizon from Titleist. But for £199.99, you do of course get a carbon crown on this driver, which looks phenomenal. You get a rear weighting right at the back of this club, which again is designed to shift CG back in this head. It's all about mass distribution to get the most MOI possible to make this driver as forgiving as possible. And you even get an adjustable loft on this club. I think that's phenomenal for the price. The one issue I would have with this driver is in fact the shaft, and the shaft is a premium shaft. It's a premium component. It is an even flow riptide shaft. This is a 60 gram stiff, and of course you get the lambkin grip on there as well. But for me, when I changed the shaft in this, I put a bog standard Mizuno shaft in this head. The driver performed a lot better, so I feel like maybe they've cheapened out on the shaft just a little bit. It doesn't perform amazingly consistently. If you do get it a little bit high toe and you get that low spinner, it can perform really well. But if you kind of get it out the middle, it generally spins at like 3,500 for me. So nice and forgiving, but I think there's better drivers out there for maybe a tiny bit more money. And certainly that's done so well to go over that tree. That's another one down the middle of this fairway for £199. I don't think you'd be too disappointed with this driver. That's why it's at number 4 of my top 5. Okay, so I know what you're all thinking. Wow, James, those first 2 drivers, that's phenomenal value. We haven't even hit the £200 mark yet, which I think for a brand new golf club, especially in 2024, is exceptional value. So what is in at number 3 of your top 5 budget forgiving drivers? It has to be this bad boy. Now, when we first ever saw the PXG brand hit the market, they were astronomically priced, and it kind of took the market by storm a little bit. It certainly caused, I think it's fair to say, a ruckus. Now, when I take this head cover off, you'll see that in fact, this is the PXG 0211 driver, and I think this driver looks absolutely gorgeous. It is still jam-packed full of PXG technologies, as you can see, and this driver would set you back just a measly £229 brand new. I actually got it for cheaper than that. I got it in a little bit of a sale that PXG were offering on their website. You have to keep your eyes open for those, and it cost me £189 brand new with a Diamana shaft in there. This is a premium shaft, it's a premium PXG grip. This is exactly the same grip you do get on PXG's premium line. You of course get that rear weighting, again to shift CG back in the head to enhance MOI to make this a more forgiving driver, and we get an adjustable loft on there as well. So I've got this in 9 degree. You could order it in 10 or 12 degree, but you can also change the loft on there as well. I think for that price, this is phenomenal. PXG, obviously one of the bigger names in this budget series as well. Who would have thought that just a couple of years ago? But I actually tested this quite a lot when I got it, and I really enjoyed it. I think they sold out quickly, then they restocked. So if you are on the lookout for a really nice budget driver, the PXG 0211 might well be one of them. And that's going to be miles down there. I've hit that bang smack out the middle, and for me this is everything that I wish the Costco driver was. A very similar price, maybe a touch more, maybe a touch less, depending what time of the year you get it, but I've hit that bang out the middle of the face. It feels like a premium driver, it looks like a premium driver, and nobody in your group is going to go, oh, you got the cheap PXG driver, because not everyone really knows. So they'll just think, oh, he's got a PXG driver. And that shouldn't matter, but to a lot of people, I think it does. That's number 3. Okay, so in at number 2, and I guarantee that before I reviewed this driver, it may well have been a brand or a club you've never have heard of. And if you had have heard of the brand, I pretty much guarantee you've heard of it for forgiving golf clubs, for a full set of hybrids. I'm of course talking about the brand new 11 NH01 driver. Now, the reason why this is so high up isn't necessarily because it's the best sounding driver in the world, the best looking driver in the world. It's the fact that for the price, not only do you get a lovely lush premium head cover, you get what I think is a really nice looking head design with a little bit of back weighting on there as well. A really nice traditional head shape. It looks almost like, I think, the old Bridgestone drivers, if you remember those. A nice black crown, there's no carbon here, it's just pure titanium, and then of course adjustable neck here, so you can adjust the loft, you can adjust the lie angle, you can adjust lots of different things on here. Probably the most adjustable driver in this setup. This is going to set you back £249, but for that, boy, do you get a lot. You see, we're not just talking about the driver head, of course. We're talking about the Super Stroke grip that comes as standard. We're talking about the whole driver as a package for £249. And of course, if you do want it fitting to your specs, if you know what kind of specs you would want, they can put a bit of hot melt in there to adjust the weighting of the head. I found that out just a couple of days ago, and a lot of people do go for that. It's a £25 option on the website. 11 are of course direct to consumer, so D2C as it were, and a lot of people do tend to go, right, I want a little bit of hot melt in here because my ball flight goes to the right, I want to straighten that up, I want this KBS shaft in a certain colour, in a certain weight, and they can do that for you. And I think the fact that you can get a D2C driver for, again, sub £300, even sub £250 is rather phenomenal, especially if you want it like BK, your way. Oh wow, that's at the flag. That might be too big, you know. Oh man, some people have had too many BKs, I think, though. The driver does feel and sound really nice. As soon as I put it down here, you would be forgiven for thinking this was the new Titleist driver. This was the new Ping driver. Maybe not Ping, because Ping generally put those horrible turbulators on, don't they? But it certainly looks the part, and it certainly feels and sounds the part as well. That's just another one down this fairway, and all of a sudden we're starting to think, James, that's 4 incredible drivers you've had from 5 to 2. What isn't at number 1 of your top 5 forgiving drivers on a budget? Well, I said they had to be sub £300, and this is a little bit cheeky because this one's $299.99, but it still counts. You see, number 1, it is a driver that a lot of people may not even think to have tried, and comes in at, like I said, £299, 99 pence. It's of course the Cleveland Launcher XL2 driver. Now, the fact that you can get a Cleveland Launcher driver for sub £300 in 2024 brand new is remarkable, because I'm pretty sure the original Cleveland driver back in the day that me and my dad had with the bright orange shaft that VJ Singh used in like probably 2004-ish will have been £299. So they've really stuck to the guns here. You can see we've got full adjustability with loft and lie angle. You can see that we've also got a really nice kind of looking inertia generator style shape here to allow for more club head speed, and that all important rebound frame for forgiveness around the face. So this for me is the best forgiving budget driver of 2024. You might think £300 budget is a little bit much, but actually when drivers are costing up of £600 and £650 at the moment, half that has to be classed as budget. We have a 10 size shaft in here, so as you would imagine with Cleveland, all these components are as premium as they come, and for £300 I honestly think that, oh my lord, look at that. That is frightening. I actually cut across that a little bit as well, you can see with the T on the head, but that is the best forgiving driver on a budget of 2024. Let's go and see where that's finished, because that's frightening. I left it in the car, so we had to like do the other ones, come back up, get it. That's position A. And I can't believe just how good that's done for £299. Neither can this man.
Fantastic.
My new driver.
Insane.